Okay, let's try a quick thought experiment. Kinakausap mo ba ang teacher mo or say, ang principal nyo in the exact same way na kinakausap mo ang best friend mo kapag naglaro kayo ng video games? I'm guessing the answer is a massive no, right? And there's a perfectly logical reason for that. Ngayon, sisimulan na natin ang pag-aaral sa mga antas ng wika or the levels of language. Today, we're going to unpack exactly why and how the way we speak completely changes depending on who is listening. Think of language like a contextual chameleon. It literally transforms to survive in different environments. Here is our roadmap for today. Pag-uusapan natin ang kategorya ng mga wika, tapos yung mga pormal like Pambansa at Pampanitikan, and then we'll dive right into the Di-Pormal categories, Lalawiganin, Balbal at Kolokyal. Let's get started. Starting with Section 1, Kategorya ng mga wika. We really need to lay down the foundational rule of how we categorize all of these words we speak every single day. So, ang wika ay nahahati sa iba't ibang kategorya, meaning language is divided into categories based on a bunch of shifting factors. It depends on someone's identity or pagkatao, the society they move in, their location, the time period, their status, and of course, ang okasyong dinadaluan or the specific occasion. Basically, your vocabulary completely shifts based on the who, where, when, and why of the exact situation you're in. Now, ask yourself this. What would actually happen if you walked up to the president of the Philippines and started throwing out the latest street slang during a formal speech? Awkward, right? But why does that feel so wrong? It's all because of context. That massive mismatch between the occasion and the words you're using proves exactly why we absolutely need distinct levels of communication. And that leads us straight to our top tier, Section 2, Formal, Pambansa, at Pampanitikan. This is the realm of structure, respect, and really strict rules. When we say formal na antas, the absolute keyword you need to remember is standard. Ito yung wika na standard at kinikilala ng nakararami. It's recognized and used by the vast majority of people. More importantly, it requires sentences that perfectly follow correct grammatical rules or yung tinatawag nating kawastuan ng panuntunang grammatical. If grammar was the law, formal language is your most strictly law-abiding citizen. But even within this strict, formal category, we actually have two very distinct flavors. On one side, we have Pambansa, or national language. These are the words recognized and accepted throughout the entire country. On the flip side, we have Pampanitikan, or literary language. This is where things get deep, artistic, and metaphorical. Masining, matalinghaga, at malalim ang kahulugan. Think of the beautiful formal language you'd find in epic poems, classic novels, or grand speeches. Let's look at some Pambansa examples first. We have bahay for house, kabatid for sibling, and ina for mother. Notice how straightforward and clean these are? Whether you're at a school in Luzon, a business meeting in the Visayas, or a formal event in Mindanao, these standard words are universally understood and respected. Now, contrast that with Pampanitikan. Imagine a writer crafting a really beautiful novel. Instead of just saying sa gitna ng gubat or in the middle of the forest, they might use the phrase pusod ng kagubatan, which poetically translates to the heart of the forest. They're using a metaphor, literally saying the belly button or center, pusod, to paint this incredibly vivid artistic picture in the reader's mind. That is the magic of Pampanitikan. But let's be real for a second. Now that we understand how strict and poetic formal language can be, a pretty big question pops up. Paano tayo nakikipag-usap araw-araw? How do we actually talk on a daily basis? I mean, you don't order your lunch using poetic metaphors, right? And that brings us to the Antas na Di-Pormal. Ito ay wikang ng araw-araw na pakikipag-usap, the language of your everyday conversations. The golden rule here, strict grammar and punctuation simply do not matter. Hindi mahigpit sa mga bantas at gramatika. As long as you and your friend understand each other simply and clearly, you are succeeding at Di-Pormal language. Let's explore its three fascinating branches. The first branch of our informal language is tied directly to geography. Section 3, Disformal, Wikang Lalawiganin. You can think of Lalawiganin like a vocal fingerprint. This is the language of people from a specific province or region. The key identifier here is that it's highly recognizable by a unique tone or accent, may kakaibang tono o punto. Even if two people are both speaking Tagalog, the rhythm and the specific vocabulary they choose instantly give away where they grew up. Check out these everyday examples.
Instead of the standard Tagalog bakit for why, someone from an Ilocano-speaking region might casually ask nano, or instead of the grammatically standard kumain ka na, you might hear nakain ka na, which is super common in provinces just south of Manila. These everyday variations are textbook examples of Lalawiganin.
Moving right along to Section 4, Di-Pormal, Wikang Balbal. This is easily the most dynamic, rebellious, and ever-changing level of language. Balbal is basically slang. It's an informal set of words used by specific groups, mostly the youth, out on the streets. And how is it made? Well, it's literally a secret code. Nabubuo ito sa pamamagitan ng pagbabaliktad o paglikha ng bagong salita. They create it by reversing letters or inventing completely new words out of thin air. And as you can probably guess, this is absolutely not suitable for formal situations. Let's decode a few of these together. We have chicks, a slang term for a young lady. We have chibog, a street word meaning to eat. But look at this middle one right here, pet malu. This is such a cool example of active language creation. Can you see how it was formed? If you take the formal word malupet, which means cool or cruel, and you literally flip the syllables backward, malupet becomes pet malu. That is a perfect example of pagbabaligtad in Balbal.
Finally, we reach our third and last informal category, Section 5, Di-Pormal, Wikang Kolokyal. If Balbal is about inventing secret codes, Kolokyal is all about taking shortcuts. Colloquial is your everyday speech but squeezed for speed. Ito ay ang pagpapaikli yang isa, dalawa o higit pang titik sa salita. It's characterized purely by shortening letters in a perfectly normal word. Depending on who's speaking, it can sound a bit rough, may kagaspangan, or it can still sound pretty refined. But the ultimate goal? Just getting the word out of your mouth faster. I guarantee you use these every single day without even realizing it. Look at how we aggressively chop these words down. We take the formal naasan and just say nazan. Paano drops a vowel and becomes pano. Sa akin merges into sakin. Kailan morphs into kailan. And my absolute favorite shortcut of all, taking the two-word command hindaika and shrinking it all the way down to just teka. That right there is colloquial in action. Before we wrap this up, let's do a super quick review, because this is where a lot of people actually get confused. What is the exact difference between those last two? Remember this, Balbal, or slang, invents or reverses letters to make new, secret words, like petmalu. Kolokyal, on the other hand, doesn't invent anything new at all. It simply shortens existing everyday words just to save time, like turning paano into pano. Make sense? And that brings us full circle. You see, language isn't just a boring list of vocabulary words in a textbook. It's a living, breathing tool that constantly adapts to your environment. So here's my challenge for you today. The next time you open your mouth, whether you're messaging a friend, ordering food, or answering a teacher, pay close attention. Which level of language are you using? Which chameleon form did you instinctively take? Keep listening, keep learning, and maraming salamat sa pagsama sa pahimay natin ng mga antas ng wika.